Tinger, and welcome back to Steps to Success. I would like to congratulate you for completing exercises 1 through 7. In these exercises, you practiced how to conjugate a verb from the present tense to the future tense, from the present tense to the past tense, and from the present tense to the progressive tense. Now we're going to extend your practice and move into writing. This is why this program is such a practical and ideal program for learning English. Steps to Success is a very comprehensive program that you will use your skills as you go and continue to build on them. Steps to Success has routines and patterns that will facilitate your learning and make it easy for you to strengthen your skills in writing, in speaking and pronunciation, and even refining your accent. As I mentioned, there are patterns that can be followed while you are practicing and sharpening your skills in English. One of these patterns, especially moving into writing, is to focus on informational questioning. So we recommend at Steps to Success that you continue using the questioning skills and answering while you are sharpening your skills for the writing. Therefore, we're going to begin with our 5 W's. We have the what, the who, the when, the where, the why, and then we have the how. All these questions are asking informational questions. So there are 3 things that we need to keep in mind. One of them is that when we ask the question what, it talks about things. And when we talk about who, it's asking or talking about people or a person. When we talk about why, it's going to be a reason behind maybe why something occurred or why something is happening. The where is going to be about a place, the location of where something occurs. The when talks about the time. It could be the time, the hour time. It could be the calendar, the day, the week, the month, or it could be a time period. And then we have the how. The how is going to talk about how something took place. What manner did it take place? So as you continue practicing your writing and your speaking, you are going to focus on informational questions and follow the patterns that are embedded in those questioning. So, the first thing is to remember what each question is asking. The what, the who, the why, the where, the when, and the how. So you need to know what each question is referring to. The second part that you need to remember is your answering. So the informational questions will have the cues to follow. The what, my answer has to refer to a thing. The who is going to refer to a person or people. The why, my answer has to be a reason why. The where, I'm going to answer about a location. The when is going to be an answer about time. And the how is going to be how did it happen, the manner that something happened. So the second part is the first part is you need to remember what the question is. The second part is what your answer has to address. And now the third part. Number 3 is that there are specific helping verbs that we will use for each informational question. So these are the patterns that we are talking about. So here in this chart, I am showing you the informational question, what, and the different tenses. So these are the helping verbs that we will use while we continue with exercise 8. So if you remember that in Steps to Success, there are patterns and routines that we can follow while we are still practicing our English. If you realize that these are a good example of patterns that we will use. So if my pronoun is I, these are the helping verbs that we will be using for the pronoun I when answering and asking questions with the what, which, if you remember, refer to a thing. So we would use in the present tense, do. For he, she, and it, we would use does. And for the present tense, for the pronouns you, they, and we would use do. For the past tense, for the pronoun I, we would use did. For he, she, and it, we would use did. And for you, they, and we would use did as well. Now for future, when we're asking a question or answering a question about future things, for I, we would still use will. He, she, and it, it's will. And you, they, we would use will. However, if you remember in progressive, it's always a little different. For I, we would use am. For he, she, and it, we would use is. And for you, they, and we would use are. So if you continue the practice and see the patterns that you've been taught, then you will have success in the following exercise. Let's move into exercise 8. This is exercise 8. So we're going to use the verb on the left hand, and the informational question is what? So remember, we're going to have to conjugate the verbs to the present, the past, the future, and the progressive tense. So if my pronoun in this example 1, we're using he, and the verb that we're going to use is walk. So in the present tense, we're going to use the pattern here that we're going to fill in and plug in the words. The question word is what. The helping verb is does. So remember, we're doing the present. If we go back to my chart, the present for he is does. You could see the connection. So there's my pattern. What does he walk? What does he walk? So the subject is he, right here, and the action, which is the verb, would be walk. What does he walk? Now let's answer the question. The answer is going to be a dog. So we're going to start with the pronoun he, main verb walks. Vocabulary word is the dog. That's going to be what he walks. He walks the dog. So again, remember, we're working in the present. What does he walk? He walks the dog. Now, using the same pronoun, he, and using the same verb, walk, we're going to answer in a different tense. So again, let's follow the pattern. The question word is what? Now, you could see in parentheses it says past. That means we're going to question in the past tense. What did he walk? So if we go back to my chart again, let's go back to my chart again, and for the word for he in the past tense, he in the past tense, we're using the word did. So here we are again. What did he walk? Let's answer the question. We begin with our pronoun. He walked. If you remember in exercises 1 through 7, we add the ed to the verb. He walked the dog. So again, in the past tense, what did he walk? He walked the dog. Now we're going to switch the tense again. We're going to change it to future tense. Again, we have our question word, what? And now the helping verb is will. What will he walk? And the answer is, he will walk the dog. Again, now this is future. What will he walk? He will walk the dog. Again, we could always go back to my chart and see he in the future tense. He in the future tense is will. Did we use will? Yes, we did. What will he walk? He will walk the dog. Now we have to move into the progressive. So here's the example for the progressive. Again, we begin with what, our question word. What is he walking? He is walking the dog. Again, let's go back to my chart. For he, in the progressive, we use is. Did we use is? Yes, we did. In the progressive, here it is. Here's the helping verb. What is he walking? He is walking the dog. Very good. Let's try number 2 together. Again, in number 2, we have a different pronoun. We're going to use the pronoun they. And our verb is going to be clean. And still, the question word is still what. So let's fill in what. And for the present tense, we have to find the helping verb for the present tense. So we could always go back to our chart, and we're using the word they, and so the helping verb that we're going to use is do. So, what do, the subject is they, what do they clean? Question mark. What do they clean? pronoun for the answer is they. And as always, we begin with a capital letter. They, and the main verb is clean. They clean. Vocabulary word is a table. Again, what do they clean? They clean a table. Now we're going to move to a different tense. We're going to move to past tense. So let's start with our question word is what. The helping verb for past, for they, we could go back to the chart. They, past tense is did. What did? What did they clean? Question mark. What did they clean? The pronoun. Let's answer the question. They. Now remember, it's past tense, so we need to conjugate our verb clean to cleaned. We need to add the ed. Cleaned. They cleaned the table. Again, what did they clean? They cleaned the table. And now let's try a different tense. We're going to do the future tense now. Now remember, for future, we're going to use the helping verb will. So they will. And you could see it's the same for all our pronouns. So will. Question word is what? Will they clean? What will they clean? The answer, the pronoun, they will clean. They will clean the table. So again, what will they clean? They will clean the table. So now we could practice with the progressive. So in the progressive, remember, usually we have to add an ing to the verb, cleaning. So we again start with our question word. What? Helping verb. We could go back to our chart. For they, progressive, we're going to use the word are. So what are, subject is they, what are they cleaning? Remember, we have to conjugate the verb cleaning. What are they cleaning? Now we have to answer. Begin with the pronoun. They are cleaning the table. What are they cleaning? They are cleaning the table. So, as I mentioned before, you can follow the patterns and it will make it a lot easier as you continue your practice and as you remember how to conjugate your verbs. The helping verbs are always the same, plugging them in. So remember, you could always rewind the tape, watch how we did exercises 1 and 2 together, and now it's time for you to continue with the following.